Who are the top 10 arm wrestlers in the world? This is a question that has been thrown around a lot. There's been endless discussions, endless arguments in arm wrestling forums, in comments sections, everywhere. This seems to be the go-to topic for the sports fans at the moment. The top 10 overall right arm list. Who are the best 10 right arm wrestlers on the planet? I'm going to dive into that for you today, so buckle up. Alright, so as we dive into this top 10 list, there's a few rules that I need to lay down for you as to how I'm going about this list. Let's frame it this way. These are just my opinions. Nothing more than that, alright? My opinion. You might value my opinion, you might think it's rubbish. What I'm gonna do is base this ranking off basically who I think would win. If every single one of these guys faced every single one of these guys, I think the guy at number 1 would probably have no losses, and the guy at number 10 would probably have not necessarily all losses, but he would have more losses than anyone else, because styles do make matches, and it's never going to be linear. It's never going to be perfect that 3 will beat 4, that will beat 5, that will beat 6. Okay, it's not that simple. Okay, this is a combat sport combined with a strength sport at the end of the day. So we get this beautiful concoction of messiness and styles and Anyway, if you're a fan of someone, I understand it. You always want them to take on the highest ranked guy that you believe they can beat, i.e. Hermes v Devin. All he wants is Devin. He doesn't want Dave Chaffee, he just wants Devin. But anyway, let's dive now into the list. We'll start at number 10 and we'll go from there. Alrighty, coming in at number 10, you might be surprised, you might think he should be higher, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm having Hermes Gasparini at number 10. Hermes Gasparini has just put in a absolutely fantastic performance at King of the Table 2, defeating Gennady Vikvinia, the Georgian general, quite significantly. And that alone, for a lot of people, puts him way up there. Gennady is someone of tremendous level. He's got amazing credibility as a genuine super heavyweight threat, has done for a long time. But Gennady's been out of action for quite a number of times. The last time we saw him compete was 2018, so the win is kind of held back a little bit in respect to where Gennady's at. We don't, unfortunately, have good data on Gennady, so we can't therefore extract good data on Hermes. Now, the only other data that we have on Hermes at this point in time is a loss to Alex Cadena, so we know Alex is above Hermes, and a win on Matt Mask earlier in 2021. And I don't believe Matt Mask to be a top 10 guy, so I find it pretty hard for me at this stage to put Hermes Gasparini any higher than number 10. Alrighty, coming in at number 9, I personally am placing Dimitri Truman. Russia's Dimitri Truman, for me, is one of those guys that he's just always there, and he's always so damn close to being a mega star, and he never quite gets over the line. Dimitri Truman has been a killer all his life. He came up through the weight categories from like 90 kilos to 100 kilos, and he was always winning. He was always on the podium, he was always right there, and he continued to do that as he got into the bigger super heavyweights. We didn't see the commanding success, but he's always been right there on the fringe of being in the top 3, top 4 at every single event that he's ever been to. Dimitri Truman is somebody who I really would like to rate higher than 9, but I'm struggling to rate him higher than 9 right now simply because of his injury-prone situation. It's been a while since we've seen him do anything particularly huge. He did have losses to, he's had losses to people like, obviously, Lavan, Vitali, but Dimitri Truman is someone that just has to be in this top 10. You can't write him off. He's there, you know he's there, even if he's getting injured. At the moment right now, this moment in time, December of 2021, I have Dimitri Truman ranked number 9. All right, coming in at number 8, we've got the Ukrainian superstar Evgeny Prunik, the man who John Brzenk, I remember John Brzenk in the 2019 season of Top 8. He said Evgeny Prunik is the man to keep an eye on. Watch what he can do. And the reason John Brzenk identified that, and it's the reason why I agree with John, and it's the reason why Evgeny Prunik sits at number 8 on this list, is he is so technically well-rounded. When we talk about arm wrestling and its mastery and of its combat, Evgeny Prunik is there right at the pointy end. And he is physically conditioned across the full spectrum of styles that arm wrestling requires. And he's done it all. He can defend, he can attack, he can block, he can counterattack. He really can do it all. His endurance is fantastic. He's had wars throughout the years with so many different amazing athletes. He himself has looked incredibly promising, even against the biggest of athletes like Vitali Le Litton. He obviously lost to Vitali Le Litton in the last top 8 series, but always looked amazing. He's had some pretty damn awesome battles as he came up through the lighter weights into the super heavyweights, now sitting at around that sort of 120 kilo body weight. Evgeny Prunik is a true legitimate threat to anyone on the day. He technically can put people into lanes that they don't want to be in. End of the day, he's not quite got the horsepower to be cracking into the very big dogs of this list, and it's for that reason I have him sitting at number 8. Alright, coming in at number 7 is the man that's kind of just come out of nowhere. We're talking about Alex Cadena. Alex Cadena has arrived. A lot of you are going to say he should be higher on this list. Look, there's a big part of me that says you might be right. You might be right. And in time, I'm sure you will be right. But right now, I have Alex Cadena sitting at number 7. Alex has an outstanding 2021 season under his belt, with wins everywhere he's going and commanding wins at that. His most notable win is his most recent super match with Hermes Gasparini, also Tobias Sperong, and Ryan Espy of Canada. 6-0 over all 3 of those athletes, and doing it in convincing fashion. The sheer size of this man is something that just must be respected. In all athletes in this top 10 would be fearing Alex Cadena. His wrist is 10 inches. His back pressure is enormous. He's someone that's 165 kilos. He's 6'7". He is a genuine giant among men. And if you've ever stood next to him, you understand very quickly why he is such a threat. Now, he's pretty new to the sport, only 3 to 4 years in the sport. He feels personally like his peak is still to come. Some 3 to 5 years away, he has declared is his peak. And already he is threatening incredibly high and is making absolutely promising strides towards threatening the likes of Vitali Le Litton and Lavan and all the big dogs, Devin, everyone. Alex Cadena's coming, but right now I have him at number 7. Alright, coming in at number 6 is one of the people that I think is actually the most underrated and forgotten, often forgotten athletes within the world of arm wrestling. He is a man with an obscure style, someone that can counter, someone that is fearless on almost anyone out there. We're talking about the USA's Jerrycadorette. Now, Jerrycadorette, if we look at his record, he has wins on Michael Todd, he has wins on Devin Larrett, he has pins on everyone, and he has always been, in particularly the WAL, so close, oh so close to being the hammer holder. Oh so close to being the dominant man. His style is unique in that he does not need his wrist. He is the best flop presser there is within the sport. He's also the number 1 ranked ginger in the world, being a redhead. He is the strongest redhead in arm wrestling, which is a title I'd like to take off him someday. But for the moment, Jerry stands alone in his style. He stands alone in his threat, and he is often overlooked because he doesn't get the ability to travel very much for the sport. He stays within the USA most of all, and subsequently he's facing Devin, he's facing Michael, he's facing Dave Chaffee, he's facing Matt Mars, he's facing Todd Hutchins, and he's always been right there very close at the pointy end. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, Jerrycadorette, number 6. All right, coming in at number 5, he is a man that is just iron. He is someone that isn't known for technicality. He's not known for being fancy. He's known for not mucking around and having a wrist of iron and side pressure to boot. We're talking about the USA's Dave Chaffee, of course. Now, Dave Chaffee's most recent outing, he got the opportunity to face Lavan Saganoshvili. It didn't go well for Dave. He essentially got manhandled by the Georgian monster. But at the same time, you just know he is fundamentally so damn powerful. We've seen footage of him recently training with Todd where he's simply just 40 times in a row, whatever, just comfortably pinning Todd Hutchins. John Brzenk has described Dave Chaffee to me before as having the most awkward and difficult side pressure to deal with. Dave is someone who doesn't bend his wrist, doesn't really commit to positions. He just maintains such significant static strength, and his pronation through his side pressure really is something special. Dave Chaffee is a threat to everyone within the world of arm wrestling, and he will make people do desperate things in order to be able to defeat him and get a stop on him. And for that reason, I have Dave Chaffee, ladies and gentlemen, at number 5. All right, coming in at number 4, we are getting to the pointy end now of this overall ranks, and this man is going to piss off a lot of people because his style is one that is the most hated style in the world. You know who I'm talking about. It's Michael Todd of the USA. Michael Todd of the USA, especially when we are talking about supermatch format, has to be recognized as one of the most difficult men to defeat. And notice that I said difficult men to defeat. Michael Todd is about defense. He has a style, his King's Move style, he has perfected, and he has developed such a significant strength in specifically that King's Move defense that the greatest arm wrestlers the world has ever seen have repeatedly tried and repeatedly crashed against the rocks of his King's Move. Now, people do figure it out. When we think about his most recent outing, Devin Larrett defeated Michael Todd in such a manner that has never been seen before. And you ask yourself why? It's because Devin Larrett has a very unique set of tools, a rare set of tools, a long arm, a big hand, an ability to get so deep in his wrist that it was able to counter the form and shape of Michael Todd. But when we look at the history books, we look at how Michael goes in super matches against almost anyone else. Call him Pushkar, call him Saplankov, call him Dave Chaffee. Michael Todd has an ability to not be pinned. And if Michael stops a match, Michael wins the match. That is almost certainty when it comes to super matches, especially 6-round super matches. No one gets an easy day when facing Michael Todd in a super match. It doesn't matter who you are, you have to work hard. And there aren't many people that are the favorites in my books over Michael Todd right now. And so it is for that reason that I have Michael Todd at number 4. All right, coming in at number 3, we are very close now. This is where the debate really heats up. This is where the debate starts to talk about, does this person have credibility to be ranked this high? Does this person dodge anyone else below? Does this person really have what it takes to sit atop this list at number 3 and demand the respect? I think so. And I'm talking about Canada's Devin Larrett, the man no limits himself. Devin Larrett, I believe, sits at number 3 right now for the simple reason that he is at a size within his frame, within his body structure that has never been seen before. Devin Larrett has traditionally been someone who sits at around 230 to 240 pounds. His new normal is around 275 to 285 pounds, and he is on his way up. He's of course hunting the men above him, and Devin Larrett recognizes that in order to do that, he needs to be the biggest version he has ever been. Now, the thing that has always set Devin Larrett apart is not his size and his strength. It is his tenacity and his endurance and his ability to coil his body so deeply into positions that it technically starts to derail and break down the styles of his opponents. His opponents can be fundamentally stronger than he is, and yet his ability to coil, his ability to twist, his ability to rise and take little things, the little things that seem to matter more Devin takes control of those things. The small movements are what matter more to Devin than the big movements. It is those small movements that make people slowly and fundamentally be broken down in their own style to the point where they start to pin themselves. Devin Larrett is the most famous man for making athletes pin themselves. He's done it to almost every opponent he's ever faced. He's ground them into the dirt and the dust with that python-like technique and made them quit. Devin Larrett at this weight, for me, stands at number 3. Alright, coming in at number 2 now, the bridesmaid of the list, the person taking the silver medal, the almost number 1 in the world, Vitali Le Litton. Now, Vitali Le Litton, let's make no mistake, he's hungry. He is coming for the number 1 rank. He wants the number 1 rank, and he is oh so close to it. He may actually have it, and we just don't know. He hasn't yet had the opportunity since the 2019 final of the Top 8 series, where he didn't get the gold medal. He didn't take that number 1 spot. He finished in the 2nd place with the silver medal. Vitali Le Litton is the tallest of the athletes on the list, standing at some 6'8" tall, weighing in now, I believe, at like 145 kilos and holding it well. Vitali Le Litton is someone who has so much potential within his frame to get bigger than anyone else in the current crop of arm wrestlers. With that height that he has, the arm that he has, the wrist size that he's got, he's also someone that has world records on the dynamometer, on squeezing pressure, so his hand strength is truly phenomenal. Known as a top rolling monster, his last outing he made Krasomir Kostadinov of Bulgaria look very much out of his league. He looked like there was zero problem. He could do anything with him. There was no stress. It was like arm wrestling someone 3 or 4 chapters below him for power. Krasomir Kostadinov, of course, a legend of the sport at around that 100, 105, even 110 kilo mark. So for Vitali Le Litton to do what he did to Krasomir Kostadinov with such significant ease is why I have him at number 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at the number 1 rank in the world of arm wrestling. If you don't know the name of the man I'm about to say, then you have probably been hiding under a rock, or you're very new to the sport and you are eagerly waiting to see who it will be. Okay, this man truly has taken arm wrestling to a new level. He truly has taken the physicality of what it is to be an arm wrestler to a place we've never seen. His hand and wrist are phenomenal. His wrist, I believe, measures some 10.5 inches. His fingers are thick and strong. His forearms look like legs. His back pressure is just ridiculous. His wrist flexion is monstrous. I don't know how anyone holds on to him, and he certainly is not letting anyone get even close to him, because he has not dropped a round in a super match since 2017, where his last defeat was, as he has risen to ascension. We are, of course, ladies and gentlemen, talking about none other than Lavan Saganoshvili of Georgia. This man, like I said, right now, he is in a league of his own. There are very few people. In fact, there are no arm wrestlers on the planet that realistically have a shot at defeating him right now. Lavan is in a place where he just simply is too strong. He's almost like the Thanos of the arm wrestling world. He simply is a league above everyone, and he can at will dispatch his opponents. Stylistically wise, he has a very well-rounded game. He can hook, he can top roll, he's very counter-intuitive as well. He can defend and counterattack. He really can contain if he wants to. We haven't even seen an opponent be able to get the straps against him in recent times. Dave Chaffee, of course, one of the strongest humans in the world of arm wrestling, utterly contained and destroyed by Lavan Saganoshvili. Now, the closest man, of course, to get to a victory over him, Vitali Le Litton. He had a crack in 2019, lost 6-0, but round 1 he looked kind of okay, but still Lavan crushing him ultimately. Now the list of people hunting Lavan is relatively short. Most people are not brave enough to try for Lavan. There's only really Vitali Le Litton, Devin Larrett and Michael Todd who are demanding an opportunity to pull Lavan. It shows you how strong Lavan is, that no one else out there in the world is calling out this Georgian Hulk. Everyone fears him, and rightly so. And it's very clear why this man, ladies and gentlemen, is the #1 ranked arm wrestler in the world. Alright guys, so there we have it. That is my current top 10. Like I said, you're probably going to disagree with it in a number of ways. That's okay, this is just my opinion. This is not an official rank of any sort, but it is what I think right now. And it is a complex thing, it's a grey area in a lot of respects, but I think that's a pretty accurate list. I think you're gonna, for the most part, I think the fans of the sport, the arm wrestlers of the world will agree. It is a fluid thing, it changes, but as we've rounded out 2021 with the conclusion of the King of the Table event, this pretty much wraps it up for me for 2021. This list is not going to change anytime soon, not until we get into 2022 and start to see some matches happen once again between these guys, and obviously between guys that are trying to crack into that top 10 as well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think about this rank. Is it accurate? Would you agree? Do you disagree? Was there any shockers in there? Let me know in the comments below. Please do leave a like and hit the subscribe button if you really enjoyed it, and share this with someone who is interested for me in the top 10 arm wrestlers in the world.
Yes, that's a man!